Hello everyone, it's Foo here, and today we've had some big announcements. It's been Pokemon Day, we had a Pokemon Direct, and we were given Walking Wake and Iron Leaves. And Walking Wake has got a lot of excitement and buzz around it because it's a really interesting water dragon type with a very unique niche being a water type Sunsweeper, which we've never seen before. But unfortunately, a lot of people are dissing Iron Leaves for being a bit more disappointing. I actually love Iron Leaves. I love how it just prances around and it's got some really goofy animations, which I've fallen in love with. I also really love its color palette, this kind of green chrome and the crimson pink of its glowing areas. So I've got a vested interest for this Pokemon to be decent, and I'm going to give you 5 reasons why I think this Pokemon is going to be pretty cool in competitive Pokemon. Maybe not the best Pokemon, but I definitely see some niches for it. First off, I know that a lot of people are upset about its typing. Grass Psychic is pretty awkward. It's really awkward defensively. It's got a lot of common weaknesses. And offensively, the synergy isn't so great because things like Steel types resist both Grass and Psychic. We have had some Grass Psychics before. We see Exeggutor and Base Calyrex, neither of which did amazing. Iron Leaves is fortunately faster than both of them, which is definitely a benefit for an awkward defensive typing being a more offensive Pokemon. And it's got more bulk than both of them, which is great. The other Pokemon we see is Celebi, which is a decent Pokemon. We've seen Grass Psychic work before because Celebi has made it work. So hopefully Iron Leaves can make it work like Celebi did. Celebi has great bulk across the board. It's actually got less of an offensive presence than Iron Leaves. So I think that goes to show that Grass Psychic can work. But also, we are talking about Gen 9 here, and terrestrialization is a thing. So if you've got awkward typing, just change your typing. And I don't think it's going to be a big deal breaker. So that's my thoughts about Grass Psychic. We've got precedent that it can be decent with Celebi, and we can always terrestrialize as well. So that's one reason why I think Iron Leaves will be just fine. Number 2 is its stat spread. Again, this is an area of some people's disappointment, and I can kind of understand that because some of these Paradox Pokemon have absolutely insane offensive stat spreads with like a massive speed stat, a massive attacking stat, just being absolutely amazing. Iron Leaf's speed stat is very good, but not blisteringly fast like some of the other Paradox Pokemon. And actually it's even slower than the base Musketeer trio Pokemon like Virizion, Cobalion, and Terrakion that have base 108 speed. Iron Leaves has base 104 speed. It's still fast, but it's not quite as fast as it could have been. If you swapped its special defense and speed stat, that would have been more ideal. However, you can't really complain with 104, considering that you have base 130 attack, which is a massive attack stat, and then decent defenses across the board. Its special defensive bulk is very, very good, and its defensive bulk is fine as well. And a thing to note about these stats is that you can activate your Quark Drive to boost speed if you want to. If you go max speed Jolly and then raise your attack so that it's 1 point lower than your speed, you get base 171 speed and base 170 attack, both of which are still really, really high. And that then means that you can invest in your HP so that you become a bit bulkier. So you're sacrificing a bit of your attack because you can't go max attack if you want to boost your speed with Quark Drive if you're running booster energy or whatever. But it's still powerful enough, and you get some bulk with that. So I think that that's a really neat trade-off, and you can still be a super fast Pokemon. Just to note that with this spread and with this HP investment, you're actually able to take 2 Life Orb Headlong Rushes from Great Tusk. So that's a pretty cool benchmark because then you definitely take on Great Tusk really well. And that's going to be my 3rd point. I think it's a really interesting meta pick in VGC at the moment. Iron Leaves has an amazing matchup into Great Tusk, which is really picking up in usage at the moment. It resists both of its stab moves, and then Iron Leaves stab moves both are super effective into Great Tusk. So that's a really interesting meta call. The other one is into Amoonguss, because being a grass type, you're immune to Spore and Rage Powder, and being a psychic type, you're super effective into the poison type Amoonguss. So that's really cool. You also have close combat. A lot of Amoonguss like to terrestrialize into a dark type, so you will be able to hit them with the close combat, which is very, very nice. It's also worth noting that the faster Paradox Pokemon like Fluttermane and Iron Bundle are able to outspeed and hit Iron Leaves with super effective attacks, but both of them are special attackers, and Iron Leaves will be able to take 1 super effective attack from them most of the time. And threatens them both with a KO in return because it's super effective against Iron Bundle, and because Fluttermane is just very frail on the defensive side, Iron Leaves can actually take them out. So that's really just some very interesting meta matchups that I think Iron Leaves could do quite well into. The next 2 points are more mechanically interesting and maybe give Iron Leaves more of an interesting competitive niche. So they are to do with terrains. Firstly, Iron Leaves benefits from all 3 types of terrain. Grassy terrain boosts the power of its stab grass type moves while also giving it recovery because it's a bulky Pokemon, so it will definitely appreciate that. Psychic terrain boosts the power of its psychic stab moves and also blocks priority moves, which Iron Leaves doesn't really run, so that's also a big positive for Iron Leaves. And then the biggest one is electric terrain, which gives it its Quark Drive activation, so you can either boost your attack or maybe your speed, depending on what you want to run. And additionally, it has its signature move Psyblade, which is a base 80 power psychic type move that gets a 50% damage boost in electric terrain, which is even more than the damage boost it would get in psychic terrain. So that becomes a very powerful move. It's a bit of a weird interaction having a psychic type attack boosted by electric terrain, but it still is a decent boost and something worth thinking about. It could lead to some really interesting triple terrain teams, which I really can't wait to experiment with when we have some better terrain options, because currently like Seed Sower, Arboliva, and Electric Surge Pincurchin aren't particularly viable Pokemon. The last point that I want to mention is the role that I think Iron Leaves will be absolutely amazing in, and that is if Tapu Koko or Miraidon are available to use in VGC. Both of these are very fast electric terrain users that then have extremely powerful electric type attacks that they can spam. Their main issue will then be getting through ground types. And that's where you can pair them up with Iron Leaves, which can get a Quark Drive speed boost and become very fast too. And then it has the grass type moves to take out the ground types for its partner electric type Pokemon, while also having that very powerful Psyblade to blast through Amoonguses that might want to redirect your electric type attacks. So I think that Iron Leaves will actually be amazing next to these electric terrain setters. The only issue is that neither of these Pokemon are available to use in VGC at the moment. But in future formats, I can see them becoming available, and I really can't wait to see Iron Leaves paired up with these, because I do think that that will be a very interesting meta pick. For now though, we will have to find alternative ways to set up our electric terrain. But I really like Iron Leaves. I'm going to make a concerted effort to make this Pokemon work. But that's going to be all for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe for more content. I've been Foo, you've been awesome, and hopefully see you next time. Goodbye.